Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to talk about consciousness. Well, maybe it seems a little strange because most of you are studying maybe science. But consciousness is a topic that you can never avoid in science, according to the speaker. So why? Because they think that consciousness is a natural biological phenomenon. Well, maybe we can do nothing when we don't have consciousness. It's hard to see a zombie, maybe something like some people in a coma can do science research. But when we talk about consciousness to the people who study science, they usually say, oh, you're weird. So why does consciousness is always avoided by the people who study science? It was because two assumptions held by both the religious, maybe spell like this, the religious assumption and scientific assumption. Religious assumption thinks that consciousness belongs to the field of God. It is a part of soul, so it doesn't belong to the physical world. And scientific view thinks that it is a mental problem. It not belong to the real world. Some people even think consciousness does not exist because it's something spiritual. Only material things exist. But according to the two assumptions, they came 1, 2, 3, 4 assumptions. The first assumption is consciousness does not exist. But paradoxically, when you think you are conscious, you are conscious. Maybe I came to you and said, hey, guy, you're not conscious. You're not conscious. You are a well-constructed robot. You have all your reflection because you have a very good program. And what will you say to you? What will you say to me?
Get started.
I think you will refute me that you are a human being. For example, and maybe you may think, well, this woman has some problem with her head. I'm a human being. No, maybe sometimes like so, but thank you for your thanks. Oh. That's a very good way of thinking. So he has this kind of thinking, not because there is other something, but his consciousness. He can analyze my work and he can have a judgment. So when you are thinking you are conscious, you think you are conscious, you have the consciousness. So this one, yeah. This one is wrong. And then came to the second. You have, I can say that consciousness does exist, but it is not what you think about consciousness. It is something else. For example, just like I said, something like a very, very smart program. But, I think you all know the famous, it is I think it's an AI, the Deep Blue, who can play chess. And he beat the former world champion. But what can Deep Blue do besides playing chess? He can do nothing. But when we are working, we know we are working. We know, the temperature outside is a little low and we feel cold. That's what the Deep Blue cannot do. So what is consciousness? It has related to all things about feeling and I think maybe sensations and awareness. Everything about these three is the field of consciousness. consciousness is the consciousness itself. It's not something else, not a program or not. Well, simply reflections. So this one is also not true. And came to the third one. Some people said that, oh, consciousness, you say consciousness exists and it is consciousness. I can say that something cannot be replaced, cannot replace this word, but the only existing we can see is the behavior. Well, that seems reasonable, but can you have any behavior when you are not conscious? For example, I want to raise my arm and I raise my arm. I want to raise my leg and I raise my leg. When I'm in a coma, I cannot do all these things. So consciousness does exist and it exists in the behavior. And then this one is also false. And the last one. Consciousness exists, but it made no difference, especially in the field of science research. So then we came back to the definition about consciousness. It's everything related to feeling, sentience, and awareness. Well, people always think that science is a field of objectiveness, but I think it's like this. Here is a region of objective work. But we study the objective work, and through the process of thinking, then we came to a conclusion that are claims. You can make correct claims or wrong claims according to your thinking to objective work. And since we have some people are very smart, so they can give true claims. But they're still claims. You cannot avoid the thinking procedure. So it's still affected by the consciousness. So why I chose this topic? I think someone also held a similar topic when we are having the speaking test. That is a girl. Well, she studied in a laboratory and she found her professor is fabricating the data. And somebody think that, well, it's not possible just because the professor is a very good professor and he has a very good fame. He could not do this thing, not be done by his maybe master students. But I don't think so. I have a friend who studied physics, and well, in China. One day I met him in front of a lab. I said, "Hey guy, how are you doing?" He said that, "Well, not so good." He said that I'm coming out with a wrong result. I'm very surprised. So what wrong result? Result is result. It exists. How can say that it is wrong? He said that, oh, it is different from what my professor told me it should be. I said, oh, then what will you do? He said, well, I'm change the experiment conditions and some other things until I can get the right result. He thinks that his result is wrong, and I don't think so. I think result is result. It exists, so it is the true result. But since it is different from the professor, he thinks that is wrong, and he wants to change it. The thing that really changed the result is not, well, maybe according to maybe some scientific rules, but his consciousness. He thinks he can do better when he change his conditions and maybe use another method, and it can get to the truth. So does truth really exist? I really wonder. So thank you. Any questions?
Then you said that if you don't have consciousness, you won't have a behavior. Yeah.
Well, I know the behavior is something you do on purpose. not just like breeze. You know, something like bacteria. It doesn't have the function to have conscious, but it is also alive.
Yes.
Yes.
For example, there is some robot designed for distinguish.
Yeah.
So they when they do some distinguishing, do you think they have behaviors?
Well, I don't think it is the behavior here I used in the speech. A speech, maybe it has something very similar to the behavior, but the robots are do things according to the program. You have some entry and it has outcome.
Yes.
It's
I just
something
said,
like this.
according to your definition, it's just doing something on purpose. So the robot is doing something to.
But do you know the robot? No, what he is doing?
I just want to use this example to show that your definition of consciousness has something problem. In my opinion, maybe we human beings, just like computers or something else, we don't have consciousness. Yes, we think we have consciousness, we have feelings, we have awareness, but the same things happen in computer too. Maybe they know the temperatures of the chips, maybe they know the outward, just about just not the way we are, but they also have their feelings, their awareness of the world.
You think they are awareness of the world, but if I ask you, 1 + 1 = what? You will think, oh, it's a simple question. You're asking me this question. You're so stupid. But when you type in 1 + 1 = and into a supercomputer, do you think it will think you are stupid? Yeah. So that's what the human being's consciousness different from the computers you call consciousness.
Next, the computer thing.
Yes.
That depends to you. But when you think I ask you, well, are you a human being? You think I'm stupid, not because somebody told you that. If somebody asks you, are you a human being? You should think he is stupid.
You mean the way computer thinks is actually the way human beings think.
Well, yeah, it's what human beings let them think.
Maybe that's the way of consciousness happen in human beings. Maybe there are other types of
So
consciousness.
I'm just talking about the consciousness happens in human beings because my main idea, well, not my main idea, the speaker's main idea is consciousness is a biological phenomenon and you cannot avoid its influence on the science. Yeah, that's the speaker's main idea. I'm sorry about haven't cleared it out.
I have a question about behavior.
Yes.
When we talk, for example, of inactive behavior that we have, we do some things that we are not conscious of we are doing, and we still behave.
Yeah, it's still behavior. It belongs to the behavior's definition in the dictionary, but it's not the behavior I mentioned here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just consider the behavior that we think we are doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions?